Welcome. We are going to go ahead and ground ourselves in all of our greatness. This is the daily practice of recognizing yourself for the amazing things that you're accomplishing. Why is that important? Well, we have to begin to shift this belief in order for us to chase our dreams. We have to believe we're good enough to do that we are the person who is supposed to be doing this work in this world. And in order to do that, we have to sort of build, nurture, and grow this belief that you are the most amazing person that exists on this planet, which is all the goodness that we all need. And bonus, we get a little bit better at speaking to our greatness, which is just something people struggle with once in a while. Okay? So, I go ahead and set the example of what greatness grounding looks like for all of us, and then you follow after maybe you listen to the podcast, or maybe you push a pause after I close my great thing, and you do it for yourself. If you want to increase the level of impact, you can go ahead and make it a physical exchange and write it down in a journal, in a notebook, whatever you feel is right for you. But more than anything, I want you to start practicing greatness grounding. We have to shift the belief that you are not good enough to chase your dreams, because you absolutely are. And that's literally what we talk about every day, for those of you who haven't listened before. So, my great thing from yesterday was just this, knowing, and we've been building up to this idea, this thought, this knowing that I'm ready to people again. And it's sort of scary because it feels like, oh no, we're going to dive off of the cliff again, and we're going to lose ourselves. And Hannah, are we sure that we're ready? And if we just remember, I pretty much exited the world for the last year and a half. Dipped my toe in the water once in a while, came back usually scared and more petrified and more damaged than I was before. But slowly building my way back to human, back to this energy level that we could sustain and maintain, regardless of environmental factors, right? Regardless of the humans that we could encounter throughout the day, regardless of the interactions. And I've had a couple of things thrown my way this week that it was just like, oh no, still your choice. Still your choice. And these were things that I would have been sent spinning into oblivion not even 6 months ago. And so my great thing is this recognition that it's time. It's time to re-enter the world. It's time to figure out all of this work and how it all plays together and what it is supposed to do and who it's supposed to connect with and where I am supposed to be in all of this. So, more than anything, get ready, peeps. Should we continue maintaining this frequency, this level of energy? I can't even. And what I realize is, about this time last year, I was feeling this same surge of energy, this same idea that I was ready. And here's the shift. Here's the big difference. I actually believe it this time. And we've been working for almost an entire year on that idea, right? Credence was the word. Credence was the word. The mental acceptance that this is true and real. And so I think it's just the evolution of what shifting a belief looks like, of what being tested and coming back and figuring out what threw you off track last time, what kept you on track this time, and then this bigger idea that you are built for this, for whatever it is that you have in your brain. It's not like just put there by chance. And for me, there's so much bigness in all of the visions that it would be silly for me to think that this period leading up to any advancement would be easy, would be short, quick, and instantly applicable. it's too big to believe that. It's too big to think that that is the reality, to think that that could be where I go with this. And so we got to get back. We got to get back out there. We get to get back out there. And I think that that's an even bigger accomplishment, right? We get to continue doing this, to continue figuring this out, and to make it even bigger than it has ever been. And I can't tell you enough, if you've never heard any piece of this, or you've heard every single second of this build up to this place, I can't tell you enough about how important the settling and silence was to even be at this place. Like last year, we were tested with so many things right in this moment that I fell, that I didn't make it through, that I still was questioning myself. And my belief now is that we've built ourselves. I have built myself strong enough to be tested and challenged and to make it through. And, you know, last year I needed to fall. And the beautiful thing is, like, I was being tested and faced with the same exact thing last year. And I didn't rise to the occasion. I didn't have the tools. I didn't have the connections. I wasn't in a place where I could have made anything last, even if I felt ready. And so it wouldn't have mattered. Right? And the beautiful thing is, I fell and stumbled and got my head knocked and even got COVID. And right in that moment where I thought, oh shoot, yikes, knew that this was coming, probably should pack it in, you can't do this, you can't do this. I was like given this beautiful little wrapped up opportunity that said, you know what, Hannah, it's okay. We still have this gift for you. It's still here. We're going to give you the perfect instance for you to still chase this thing. So here you go. You don't have to worry. You don't have to worry. We know what you want. We know as the universe what you want, what you're going after, what your heart desires, and we know who you're going to need to be in order to be that, and we are going to help you get there as the universe. And I say, oh my gosh, thank you, universe. You know, I'm getting better at seeing when that type of thing is happening, because when you're really paying attention to it, it's amazing how often it's happening. And I don't know that that's necessarily the universe in the way that it works, or you calling attention to powering the positive. I don't know, but it's amazing how often it happens. And so that's just it. When you give in, when you make that sort of sacrificial move to whatever it's going to be for you, when you do that, the universe has you. You don't have to question it. You can just keep moving. And even though maybe you don't make it through what it was building you up to make it through, you'll go through it again. It'll be represented. It'll look different from how it looked last time, but you'll get it again. And every second that you've been waiting for that next shot, right? It doesn't pass you. It doesn't pass you. Every second that you've been waiting for that next shot, you've been building who you needed to be. And that's exactly how I'm feeling right now. I remember how I felt last year, how excited I felt, how I could just feel this thing coming, and how sad I felt when it didn't happen. But I'm not disappointed anymore. Right? Because I now understand that the universe is one powerful son of a gun. And when you ask for something, it's just going to happen. So I can't be disappointed because like, I know that it's coming regardless. I don't know when. I won't be disappointed if it doesn't happen today, because every second longer that it takes means it's just going to be that much bigger and beautiful and come on. Right? And so my great thing today, officially, is we built ourselves strong enough. I have built myself strong enough to sustain and to go out and interact with the world, because I officially understand what I expect my energy field to be. And I officially respect it, more importantly. And if you aren't in that same energy field, it doesn't mean that we can never interact. It just means there are going to be days where that doesn't make sense for me. And I gotta move on. And I'm not going to allow you to pull me down if I can't give energy to that. That's it. But y'all can try. Love you. Okay. So go ahead and ground yourself in all of your greatness. It's like such a small, simple practice, but in it, we gain more skills in speaking to the amazingness that is us. We gain more skills in shifting this belief that maybe we aren't amazing, that maybe our dreams aren't for us, that maybe we aren't good enough for our dream life. Not gonna pass. I'm gonna make you practice it every day, at least every weekday, and go. Okay, this is where you could push pause and take time to recognize yourself, or you could continue listening to the rest of the podcast and ground yourself in your greatness right after. I don't care how you do it. Just make sure that you don't skip that part. Okay? This is about you. This is a prompt. I'm not going to coach you and yell from the side, hey, do your great thing. It's a prompt. You can do it or you could not. Does it change you or doesn't it? I don't know. But if you keep doing it, I bet you it does. Okay. So today I wanted to talk because we're in research mode, been in research mode, currently writing, editing book number 1 based on the first 3 phases. And I had such a beautiful discussion yesterday recording a podcast episode. Yes, I changed the world Wednesday episode. Hi, it's been a minute, okay? But I finally recorded someone and recorded an interview, and it was so interesting because I never know where I'm going to take the interview prior, and you might be able to pick up on that. But that's intentional. I love the thought that maybe you're driving in your car to work, and it's like when you're listening to the interviews, I want it to feel like we're just sitting in your back seat and we're all talking together how we might talk about this subject. And that means I don't know where we're going to go, and that makes it the most exciting thing. It makes me truly listen to what the person is saying and ask the questions that you might ask as we're driving together in your car. Ask the questions that you might ask as we're sitting on your couch drinking coffee, all 3 of us, right? And so I never know where we're going to go, and I think that that's so much fun. I think that it's such an exciting, exhilarating way to interview people, and it leads to some really interesting conversations that I couldn't have created if I wanted to. The beauty of just curious navigation. And part of our curious navigation yesterday led us to this thought that we're all leading up to this bigger call. And while we can't quite understand that in real time, when we look back, we can start to put those puzzle pieces together. And I found it very interesting in this person's particular story. And hey, yo, good people, this is, right, what I specialize in, kind of learning and understanding the journey that comes to you living in full alignment, living your dreams out, living out what it is that's going to set your soul on fire. And so in that navigation, I asked that question. Do you feel like, maybe I didn't ask it just like this, but I couldn't remember even if I tried. Do you feel like all of this was building to where you are right now? Like, even though all of the cards that were played by the universe, some of them were like, no thank you, right? So, I mean, in this specific instance, a cancer diagnosis, we don't want to think that in any way something like that is related to our journey. We don't want to think that in some beautiful, perfect way, this is shaping us to go exactly where we're meant to go in life. Right? We don't want to believe that. But she could confirm that this absolutely was. And that not only in instances like that, there are other instances that are hard to absorb, right? Near-death experiences, all of these things. And in my experience, in my investigation and research into people who are living in alignment with their life, people who are living their dream life, those things, so long as you make it through it, were put there to put you back on the path. Because sometimes we get so far away from the path that we were meant to go on that we gotta be shocked back to that place. That we gotta be put back there. I know in my very specific instance, I was trying to avoid leaving my job, even though every single sign was pointing towards that, even though I was trying to grasp on to anything that looked similar to speaking, to writing, to putting my ideas out there. I was grasping on to anything that looked normal, that did not look like this path. Trust me, that's not where I'm supposed to go. No, universe, I hear you, but like, drown it out. No. We're not going there. That sounds hard. That sounds scary. That sounds impossible. That sounds like something I could probably never figure out on my own. I refuse. I'm not doing it. No, thank you. I'm going to go ahead and ignore you. And I'm going to take this business job opportunity in my corporate sector. That's what I'm going to do. But thank you, universe. I know you've given me so many beautiful things up until now, but I don't believe it. I don't believe that I could do it. And I tried. And then everything went haywire. Mostly starting with my heart, which makes sort of poetic and perfect sense. But like, we're fearing the leap. And you know what it is. You know what it is. Or at least in my instance, I did. And I know in my podcast episode, in her instance, she did. She knew. She knew what the whisper was. It didn't all make sense right then. And that would be the same for mine. I knew sort of pieces of what the whisper was, but I sort of always knew what it was calling me to do. And I tried everything in my power to drown it out. And then eventually I stopped. And I said, you know what, universe? Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. And then I was given even more signs. And then I said, okay, you're right. Let's go. Let's go figure this out. And every step along the way, the less resistance that I put towards anything I was trying to move towards, the more I could do. Right? the more I saw happen, the more I saw opportunities, the more I saw just alignment. And every time that I would try to push past a portion of that journey that I wanted to like fast forward, no, this is too painful, no, I cannot do this, it didn't matter. It is out of your control. Once you give in, and I heard a speaker talking on this subject, and I almost wonder if it isn't the writer of my book, The Big Leap, but understanding, right, and this is the phase that I call limbo, understanding that people who do it, right, the people who do it, I don't know, whatever that dream is, right? People who are like, oh, I was just this small town person, but I always knew that I wanted to be in movies. And so I went and I grinded it out and I was just a waitress and I was just this. And then all of a sudden, something happened. But what is consistent with what every single one of those people who've like made it say is there was a do or die, never look back moment. When they said, I am doing this and this is happening. And they never looked back. And I truly believe that as I'm writing about the first 3 phases and then going to continue writing about the next 3 in the next book, I don't know that there will be 3 in there. Limbo could be an entire book itself. In fact, it is. I bought about 6 of them. But Limbo, this willingness to finally listen, this willingness to finally jump and never look back, that is a hard one to break through. An even harder one to build up the belief that you need. But like once you do that, and I believe that it's an energetic gesture to the world, right? Whatever that looks like. Maybe that looks like, fine, I'm going back to school. Fine, I am enrolling in this course. Fine, I am going to apply for that job. Fine, I am going to build up my resume. Fine, I'm going to make the bigger leap. I am going to do this. Line in the sand moment, limbo. And the moment that you step out of limbo and into whatever that is, everything starts playing to you and to whatever this is, but you have to make that energetic gesture. You got to. Because not, and I see a lot of pain, and this is the pain of limbo. This is why it needs to be a whole book, because it's an energetic dissonance, right? Where you're sort of toying with the thing that you want to do. You're letting yourself experience it, but then you're living in 2 worlds. Okay? And living at those extreme densities of energetic volumes, right? High energy activities, right? The things that light you up and align with your life, high energy activities. And then these low energy activities, right? The things that you're doing that are just like, oh, living the dream, but actually hating your life. Those highs and lows are what send you out of rhythm, are why people get really sick in limbo, are why things keep getting sent into your life that you're like, whoa, 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 why is everything going haywire? Hold on a second. Yikes, yikes, yikes. Press the panic button. And in ways, you are just having your faith tested in every way possible. Because the universe is sort of going, and I know, right, we don't call them tests, but the universe is certainly going, I want to prove your resilience. I'm not testing you. I am proving your faith in this. And even though all things look crazy right now, and even though it seems like you're not going to be able to make it through this, you have to. You have to do this. This is building you so strong that you won't break from the things that are coming for you after this. And I'm going to keep testing it. And I'm going to test that faith. Do you really mean this? Are you really doing this? If I'm the universe and I'm like a competitor in a sport maybe, and I'm going, okay, I broke your ankle when you went to the left, so I'm going to keep going to the left. You got this? And maybe they get by you 2-3 times and you're like, they keep going left. Coach calls timeout. And coach's like, hey, they keep going left. I don't know. Do you know your left from right? Because they keep going the same way. And you're looking at yourself and you're going, gosh, okay. And coach maybe goes, do you want me to put somebody else on them? Because if you get burned again, I swear. I'm going to call a timeout. I'm going to stare you all the way to this bench, and then I'm going to let you all go back out there. I'm going to embarrass you. Okay, I saw that happen. That is a very specific example of my best friend Leah when she didn't block out. It was the most traumatic experience. I can remember everything about that moment. She did not block out after a free throw, and our basketball coach called a timeout in the varsity game, stared her from running in from that block to sitting down on the bench, and then just let us go back out. And it was the most intimidating, crazy thing that I have ever experienced. It was at Benton Community. And I still have nightmares of that moment. I don't actually, but I can remember it. Like, I can smell the popcorn in the air. I can hear the band playing before that moment. Like, everything about that moment. Madness. Anyways, that's what we're talking about. That's what the universe is playing to you. It's going to force you to build up your resilience, to build up your strength, so you can stop them from going left the next time. And right when you make that decision, right when you decide, universe, this is what I'm doing, this is where we're going, the universe goes, okay, I got you. And you don't know, right, how long it's going to take. It could take you 12 years, it could take you 1 year, it could take you 2 seconds after that moment. You have no idea. But time and research and person and investigation into this subject matter, time and time again, it takes that big of a faith leap. You gotta do it. You got to take that step, and so many people want to know what comes next, and that's not what the universe is saying. The universe is saying, tell me what you want. Take a step in that direction. Over time, those steps, you're going to strengthen what you need, you're going to strengthen what you see, who you become, all of those things. And eventually, I'm going to be leading you to this bigger decision. Are you going to listen this time? Are you going to take the leap? Are you going to blindly jump in this direction? Because the second that you do, you start this path. And as someone who's maybe a year, well, for sure I am a year and a half out of that moment for me, out of jumping from limbo into alignment. It's hard. You're believing in something you can't see, but you can, right? You can see what it looks like in the end. It's all the fog in between that's sort of scary. You don't know how long it's going to take. You don't know what you're going to have to build. You don't know who you're going to have to meet and how you're going to get there. And here's the deal. It is not worth trying to figure out right now. Your job is to keep taking the steps you can see in front of you and letting the rest happen as it will. That's it. The leap out of limbo is beautiful, poetic, majestic, and the scariest shit you'll ever do in your life. Period. But it's so worth it. And more than anything, I think it's just this idea that you're worth your dream life. That you don't have to settle for less, and you don't deserve to. And I'll never stop believing that about you. As always, you're smart, you're strong, you're beautiful. What are you going to do? Change the world.